This is Mission Control. Days 21 hours, 38 minutes into the flight of on the Artemis II mission. On board, in trip hammer fashion, in good shape, all of integrity systems in great shape, and the gutter for go conditions with winds of just 10, wave heights less than 4, ideal for the recovery. Victor Glover, Chris Cook, and Jeremy following their splashdown, which 3 hours and 53 minutes. Time. 4 minutes later, there will be a slight maneuver, a raise burn as it is called. This will tilt the aft end of the crew module upward ever so slightly in one final opportunity to refine the flight path angle, the angle of attack, if you will, as Integrity enters the atmosphere at the point called entry interface. That is at 6:53 and 31 seconds p.m. Central Time, some 16 minutes after the raise burn itself. All of these events will be happening fairly rapidly as we move over the next few hours toward a splashdown of the crew and a completion of a mission that will 181 miles from launch to splashdown.
Houston, integrity for timeline.
Christina, we're with you.
Hey, Jackie. You guys okay if we start entry checklist 30 minutes early?
Checking. And integrity Houston for entry checklist. We are ready for you to begin 18.1 entry checklist, steps 1 through 6.
Copy. We're go entry 1 through 6. Thanks.
And step 3 for GPS can be skipped. GPS has been powered and it still looks good.
Copy. Step 3 is a skip.
Control Houston at a mission elapsed time of 8 days, 21 hours, 50 minutes into the flight of Integrity on the Artemis II mission. The crew is completing suits in preparation for donning those suits and conducting leak checks as we get a bit further along in the entry preparation time frame. Meanwhile, we're looking forward to the next major milestone. That will be the separation of the crew module from the European service module 3 hours and 7 minutes from now. That's scheduled to occur at 6:33 p.m. Central Time, 7:33 p.m. Eastern Time. 4 minutes after that, we'll conduct a raise burn. This will be about a 19-second firing of Integrity's thrusters with a change in velocity of 9.9 feet per second. That will adjust the angle of attack of the vehicle by gently tipping the aft end of Integrity higher, if you will, like sitting in a reclining chair and basically leaning back a bit. This angle of attack adjustment is specifically designed and pre-planned to enter the Earth's atmosphere at entry interface later this evening at the proper angle to minimize heating effects on Integrity. It's worth mentioning once again that the difference between this entry and the uncrewed entry of Artemis I is that on Artemis I, we flew a trajectory known as a skip entry, which involved an initial dip into the atmosphere to dissipate some energy, and then we lofted back out of the atmosphere briefly, then dipped back in a second time before dropping down in the Pacific. At night, the post-flight inspection video analysis showed that there was an area of mechanical char liberation that was not expected. And so after extensive analysis and the review of an independent review team, it was determined to adjust the entry profile for Artemis II, minimize entry from 178 nautical miles to a distance of just 1,700 nautical miles across the Pacific. So instead of 20 minutes of exposure to heating effects, and a half of heat loads vehicle. Our intended splashdown target is about 1,701 miles downrange from the point of entry interface. It will be about 13 and a half minutes from the time that we enter the Earth's atmosphere at an 400 and 7 seconds p.m. time. A brief 13 and a half minute period, peak heating on the vehicle should be about 4,000 to 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The heat to be repelled by Integrity's heat shield is for any vehicle entering the Earth's atmosphere that has a crew on. The crew should be experiencing a G load of about 3 Gs at peak. Minutes in duration to a splashdown velocity of just 19 miles an hour. All that happening in rapid fire succession. Splashdown now 3 hours and 36 minutes from now. 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time. The USS John P. Murtha is on station. Some of the airborne assets, helicopters, and fixed-wing aircraft are taking off in sequential fashion from the deck of the ship. These are imagery assets the actual Navy recovery helicopters that will hoist the crew out of the front porch inflatable raft that will be erected alongside the hatchway to Integrity. And there's a view, a live view from the deck of the USS John P. Murtha. It is clouds to lift a bit over the next few hours. We should have some broken and scattered clouds. It won't be crystal clear blue skies out there in the Pacific, but the weather is go and forecast to be go by the Spaceflight Meteorology Group. The Navy helicopters will be hovering over the spacecraft once it is powered down and once it is guaranteed to be uprighted through the inflation of the 5 crew module uprighting system airbags that will take place shortly after splashdown. The Navy divers and surgeon will pull alongside the spacecraft to begin the process of erecting the front. Then they will attach and begin to extract the crew members one by one. They'll have an opportunity one by one in harnesses up inside the 2 awaiting helicopters. They'll be hoisted up in alternating fashion. So there'll be 2 helicopter for the back to the Murtha. Once they arrive on the deck, they'll be brought into medical bay for comprehensive part of the medical evaluation of members as they complete their mission around the moon and back to Earth.
Integrity Houston for entry checklist.
Go ahead, Jackie.
Hey, Reed, a couple of questions for you. We realized we didn't give you an explicit thumbs up to perform step 1.2 for the flight path angle hash mark update, so we wanted to confirm that you did in fact perform the set EI FPA limits procedure. And secondly, we want your opinion on the in and out CMIS caution. Is that something that will be distracting such that we should inhibit it.
Okay, we are going to go execute 1.2. We had skipped that, and we would prefer to inhibit the CMIS caution on board.
Okay, we copy, and just to close the loop on that, that will mean on flight.landing you would not have a yellow or down arrow indication if that does stay below the threshold.
And that is totally fine.
Houston, integrity for toilet deactivation.
Integrity, Jackie had to step off for a second. Go ahead for toilet.
Yes, sir. Hey, Stan. Great to hear your voice. We are ready for MCC to deactivate the toilet.
Houston copies. Putting that in work.
This is Mission Control Houston. That communication from Christina Cook on board Integrity to spacecraft communicator Stan Love.
Integrity for burn telemetry on CM raise burn. 2 questions.
Go for CM raise questions.
Hey, Jackie, we see a Delta V tote on our display of 9.9, which is fairly close to the 8.5 on the entry pad, but our TGO on the display is 44 seconds, and the entry pad estimated 19 seconds. Can you all take a look at that for us?
Hey, Reed, good catch. The explanation there is that Delta V is about what we expect update-wise, but the TGO calculation is not understanding that you will not have the SM when you burn CM raised. So it's doing a different mass calculation there.
I remember that class in November of 2023 in Building 5 on the 3rd floor. Thank you very much.
This is Mission Control Houston. Commander Reed Wiseman inquiring about the values for the upcoming crew module raise burn. Again, as we've explained, this burn that's scheduled 2 hours and 51 minutes from now is designed to tilt the angle of attack a bit upward, basically raising the aft end of the vehicle prior to entry interface, to improve the angle of attack and minimize heating effects on the heat shield for the Orion vehicle. The crew module raise burn will occur about 4 minutes after the service module is separated from the crew module, and we're expecting about a 19-second burn.
Integrity, Houston, the toilet is unpowered.
Christina Rogers, thank you.
The crew module raise burn is expected to be 19 seconds in duration, with a change in velocity of about 9.9 feet per second. Once again, that's designed to fine-tune the angle of attack for Integrity as it enters the Earth's atmosphere, which will occur about 16.5 minutes after the raise burn itself. And as you heard, spacecraft communicator Jackie Mahaffey relaying that we have sent commands to turn off the ship's potty, so it is no longer to be used for the remainder of the mission, with splashdown scheduled 3 hours and 19 minutes from now. The 4 crew members on board Integrity, Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen, are in the process of completing the stowage of items in the crew cabin before they move into their entry checklist, basically looking through all of the chronological procedures that lie ahead for the rapid-fire succession of all of the events that will unfold over the course of the next 3 hours. Integrity is about 25,000 nautical miles from Earth, continuing to accelerate towards a splashdown in the Pacific 3 hours and 18 minutes from now. All of Integrity's systems are in excellent shape. The crew is great, feeling well, and the weather in the splashdown zone in the Pacific, although a bit cloudy with broken and scattered clouds, is a go forecast with just 10-knot winds and wave heights less than 4 feet. Views from
Integrity Houston for a post-RTC3 tracking update.
Go ahead, Houston.
Hey, the post-RTC3 tracking looks great. So good, in fact, that if we got to CM rays and did not yet have GPS acquisition, we would still be go for CM rays from that perspective. And so overall, I can confirm the post-RTC3 trajectory is within EI limits.
All right, Jackie, we love that. That says a lot about our FIDO folks in this vehicle.
This is Mission Control Houston. A tip of the hat from Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen to the flight dynamics folks and the guidance, navigation, and control officer. The RTC-3 burn that was conducted just over 2 hours ago, which was basically a final fine-tuning of the trajectory of integrity to hit the sweet spot in the corridor over the Pacific Ocean for entry interface, was so perfect that we are dead on the center line down the corridor. And the crew module raise burn that is scheduled at 6:37 p.m. Central Time, and which will be conducted, is only required to lift the aft end of the vehicle ever so slightly by a degree or two to improve the angle of attack of the spacecraft as it enters the atmosphere, mitigating peak heating effects on the heat shield for integrity. But our trajectory is dead set, right on the money, right down the pike, heading for a splashdown 3 hours and 10 minutes from now at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time.
Houston integrity com check from seat 1.
Seat 1, have you loud and clear coming down on both OE 1 and 2? How me on 1?
Got you loud and clear on 1, Jackie. We're going to stay in this config on both 1 and 2, and Reed and Victor are in our seats, slowly proceeding along.
Okay, we copy, and just to confirm, that means that you've got the bulk of your suits donned, is that correct?
Just for Reed and Victor, A-firm. We're not gloved, not helmeted yet.
Copy all. Thanks. Integrity BFS is configured for entry with outputs inhibited. And a reminder, when you get to step 9.3, use your separate instance of 18.3.101 to save off the time.
100%, thanks.
Houston integrity com check from C2.
Victor, have you loud and clear? I'm coming up on 1. How me?
Jackie, I have you loud and clear on 1.
You are loud and clear on 2, Jackie. Houston, integrity. Steps 12, 13, 14, and 15 are complete.
Jeremy, Houston copies. Thank you.
War during their launch from the Kennedy Space Center back on April 1st. Once the crew is all suited up, they'll conduct a series of leak checks to make sure that they have good suit integrity, aboard integrity, before they strap themselves into their seats for the final phase of the mission that will culminate minutes from now at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. And the suits are in the process of being leak checked at the present time. That to you in just a few moments. Is continuing to accelerate towards the next major milestone, which will be the separation of the crew module from the European service module, 2 hours and 1 minute now. That separation maneuver, pyrotechnically, will occur at 6:33 p.m. Central Time. That will be followed just 4 minutes later by a raise burn, 19-second burn of Integrity's thrusters to induce a change in velocity of 9.9 feet per second, slightly raising up the aft end of the vehicle to improve its angle of attack. Mitigates the peak heating of heat shield of the vehicle. Out down zone. Out in the Pacific Ocean, the weather is forecast to be go by the Spaceflight Meteorology Group here at the Johnson Space Center. Winds of just about 10 knots and wave heights less than 4 feet would be ideal for the recovery forces that are being deployed from the USS them into 2 Navy helicopters and fly them back to the Earth to be brought into medical bay for post. Numbers that we've just received from official and will that enters the Earth's atmosphere will be right around the same time as we enter a communication minutes in duration. We're expecting these peak speed at 6 and 4 seconds p.m. and at that point the vehicle should be traveling at 1,661.21 miles per hour, which will be just 130 short in velocity of the record that was set back in 1969 by the Apollo 2, Tom Stafford, Gene Cernan, and John Young on their return from orbiting the moon. Once again, that peak speed expected to be reached entry interface as the vehicle plummets back into the Earth's atmosphere. The expected at 6 and that peak speed now estimated by Flight Dynamics to be 21 miles per hour, which equates to about Mach 33.
Houston Integrity, seat 1 and 2, leak check complete. Also, we powered up the AGA, and it's giving us a CO2 alarm at 4.4.
We copy leak check. We saw it as well. And copy CO2 at 4.4. We are discussing.
We also on the AGA have a bit A of 16. We've seen that in the past. Should go away.
And Reed, is the AGA been powered for 5 minutes yet, or are we still in that wait period?
We are in the wait period. We expect that bit will go away.
We copy, and that bit can also indicate that we cannot trust the other values, so we'll check back with you after the 5 minutes on the CO2 levels.
A firm.
This is Mission Control Houston. Mission elapsed time of 8 days, 23 hours, 2 minutes into the flight of integrity on the Artemis II mission. While we have a moment here, just an opportunity to run down some of the chronological highlights that lie ahead over the next 2.5 hours before integrity splashes down in the Pacific Ocean. Coming up at 5:30 p.m. Central Time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we will begin a simulcast of NASA Plus coverage that will accompany our 24/7 YouTube coverage that we have been providing ever since we began the mission with the tanking of the Space Launch System at the Kennedy Space Center for launch back on April 1st.
Houston, integrity, we are complete through steps 18. Seats 3 and 4 are yet to suit, obviously.
Jeremy, we copy you completed 16 through 18, and confirm for us whether you needed any adjustments of CIAS in step 17.
Negative. All the settings were still in.
Houston copies.
Once again, with the leak checks having been successfully completed on the 4 launch and entry suits for the crew members on board Integrity, once again we'll begin our NASA Plus coverage as a simulcast to our 24/7 YouTube coverage in an hour at 5:30 p.m. Central Time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. At 6 p.m., we're going to hand over communications from the Deep Space Network to the Tracking and Data Relay Satellite System as Integrity continues to approach the Earth. Currently, Integrity is less than 20,000 nautical miles from. We will separate the European service module from the crew module at 6:33 p.m. Central Time, and just 4 tilt the vehicle's orientation upward, with the aft end being tilted upward. That will also change the velocity by 9.9 feet per second and complete the orientation of the vehicle for its angle of attack as it enters the Earth's atmosphere. Entry interface, where we reach the first traces of Earth's atmosphere and where most of the dynamic operations will then begin. Entry interface is scheduled at 6:53 and 31 seconds p.m. Central Time, where Integrity will be traveling 34,882 feet per second with a range to splashdown of 1,701 nautical miles. Just 10 seconds, just a few seconds later, about 24 seconds later, we'll enter a 6-minute communications blackout at 6:53 and 55 seconds p.m. That communications blackout will be due to the buildup of plasma around the vehicle, the ionization of the interaction of the velocity of Integrity with the friction of the Earth's atmosphere. So the communications blackout, to last about 6 minutes in duration, will start 24 seconds after entry interface. At 6:54 and 4 seconds p.m., we'll reach our peak velocity. This is an estimation from Flight Dynamics. We should be reaching a peak velocity of 24,661.21 miles per hour, or somewhere around Mach 33. This will fall about 130 miles per hour short of the speed record set by the Apollo 10 command module, the Charlie Brown, during the Apollo 10 mission of Tom Stafford, Gene Cernan, and John Young back in the spring of 1969. Once the communications blackout ends, which is expected just a few seconds before 7 p.m. Central Time, 6:59 and 56 seconds p.m. Central Time, we will be at an altitude of 157,000 feet over the Pacific Ocean, and at that point we should be traveling at about 13,300 feet per second with a range to splashdown of just 147 nautical miles. There will be a series of roll reversals, first to the left, allowing integrity to bank to the left. These are computer-commanded, not crew-commanded, but computer-commanded roll reversals to bank the vehicle first to the left, then to the right. That bleeds off excess energy and helps to reduce the speed and the heating effects on the vehicle during the final phase of flight. Starting at 7:03 and 22 seconds p.m. Central Time, we'll begin the series of chute deployments. In all, there are 11 parachutes associated with this mission. The first 3 will pull off the forward bay cover from the top of the vehicle. The forward bay cover chutes are 3. That'll be followed by the deployment of the drogue chutes at 7:03 and 23 seconds p.m. Then 3 pilot parachutes will pull the main parachutes, 3 of them, from the forward bay cover. The forward bay housing all of the parachutes at the very top of Orion. The main chute deploy is scheduled at 7:04 and 44 seconds p.m. The vehicle will load to just a very glacial speed of 198 miles per hour, feet per second, I should say, at that point, at an altitude of 5,400 feet above the Pacific Ocean. The splashdown velocity, of course, will be 0. 19 miles an hour is the velocity that the crew will feel under the 3 main parachutes as they splash down in the Pacific, southwest of San Diego. So a number of major milestones lie ahead. Splashdown time is currently estimated at 7:07 and 7 Central Time, 07 and 7 seconds p.m. Pacific Time. That will conclude a total traveling distance from launch to splashdown of 694,481 statute miles. We're just 1 hour and 48 minutes away now from crew module, service module separation. The crew has donned their launch and entry. Everything is in order, and the weather is go at the splashdown site. Some of the flying that will collect imagery of the descent of integrity towards splashdown have already been deployed to the deck. John members will be deployed in helicopters and fast boats on as we approach splashdown, and of course after splashdown itself. Once the vehicle splashes down, we'll be deploying the 5 inflatable airbags at the top of the vehicle with helium. That will ensure that the vehicle is upright throughout the course of the recovery operations. The team here in Mission Control will check all of the systems on integrity, make sure that we are not leaking any toxic gases from the spacecraft, and that will be the signal for the start of the power down of integrity systems and the ability of the first members of the recovery team to approach the vehicle to set up the inflatable life raft called the front porch, which will be used to bring the out of the vehicle into that front porch one by one after the hatch is open to integrity. We expect the extraction of the crew to be some 45 minutes to an hour after splashdown, which would be about 30 to 45 minutes after the vehicle is powered down.
Integrity, Houston, we are ready for another EA.
It is 5.1.
Houston copies. And Reed, earlier I did misspeak. The CO2 reading specifically would not have been affected by that particular bit.
Okay, sounds good. We just know we're in an ARS suit, and that's very likely contributing to that.
We concur. Integrity, Houston, for CO2.
Jackie?
Hey Reed, what we'd like is the ARS ISO valve to mix the cabin and suit loop air for the time being. And we would just need a call from you when Christina and Jeremy are getting in their seats and are a few minutes out from leak checks, and we'll
Reasonably good idea. Can we just hang on, see how we're doing?
up to you. We will wait if you the cabin air mixing.
Is there a CO2 number where you guys would advise on that? Yeah. config is complete, and Christina and Jeremy are about to start suit done.
Excellent on cabin config and copy suit.
Under Reed Wiseman aboard integrity, indicating that following the successful leak checks on the 4 launch and entry suits, the crew will begin to actually don those suits now, deck of the integrity, in preparation for crew module service module separation that's scheduled 1 hour and 40 minutes from now.
Integrity, Houston, for entry checklist. Your CMSM SEP ATP is set to go.
We see that on the PFD, Jackie.
And the call from Capcom Jackie Mahaffey here in Mission Control to Reed Wiseman, indicating that the pyros are armed for crew module separation coming up 1 hour 38 minutes 52 seconds from now. Integrity squarely facing the planet Earth, 17,600 nautical miles away, headed for a splashdown 2 hours 12 minutes from now. The Navy P-3s, the para-rescue divers, they're all in place, ready to recover this crew following splashdown. And again, the chronology after splashdown will call for the flight control team here in Houston to assess integrity systems, make sure no toxic gases are leaking from the spacecraft. And first order of business will be the command to inflate the crew module uprighting system bags, the 5 inflatable airbags that will be inflated with helium to maintain its upright position as it bobs in the Pacific before the recovery forces reach the crew. About 15 minutes after splashdown is when we expect the green light to be given to power down integrity systems, at which point the recovery teams will begin to make their way toward the vehicle to set up that inflatable life raft called the front porch, buttressed alongside the spacecraft. That will be the precursor to the opening of the hatch and the extraction of the crew members, one by one, into that raft, giving them a chance to get their land legs back as they feel the first sensations of Earth's gravity in 9 days and their high-speed return to Earth, with their peak speed reaching some 24,661 miles an hour.
Houston, Christina's got an amazing view of home planet out the side hatch window, and it's lighting up the cabin, and it's just it's beautiful.
That is amazing. When you kicked us out of the cabin, we turned on one of the SAW cameras and also had the Earth's reflection on one of the arrays. It was very cool.
Oh, man, that is amazing.
This is Mission Control Houston. Commander Reed Wiseman reveling about the view of the Earth from a distance of less than 17,000 nautical miles now.
The cabin audio cable and boom mic are in F3 large stowed.
We copy.
The view that Reed Wiseman is describing is the view you're looking at right now as the Earth grows larger in the field of view with each passing moment. We're about 29 minutes away from the start of the NASA Plus coverage, joining our 24/7 YouTube coverage as a simulcast for the remainder of the evening through the time the crew is on the deck of the USS Mertha and in medical bay. So we'll be looking forward to additional reports and other video coverage from the deck of the USS John Mertha and other assets in the splashdown zone as we continue toward splashdown and the return of Integrity's astronauts just 2 hours and 5 minutes from now. Couple of minor updates, just tweaks by a second or so for some of the key activities that will be coming up. Flight Dynamics providing us with some updated information. The start of the blackout period, just a 1 second change. It's going to be estimated now at 6:53 and 54 seconds p.m. Central Time. The duration remains 6 minutes. That blackout will end at 6:59 and 55 seconds p.m. all Central Time. We expect to begin entering the Earth's atmosphere at an altitude of 400,000 feet at 6:53 and 30 seconds p.m. And 1 second difference now in our splashdown time, if everything unfolds the way we believe it will. Splashdown now scheduled at 7:07 and 8 seconds p.m. Central Time, 7:07 and 8 seconds p.m. Central Time, 5:07 and 8 seconds p.m. Pacific Time at the splashdown zone off the coast of San Diego. And one other update, the latest weather forecast from the Spaceflight Meteorology Group passed on to Flight Director Rick Henfling, calls for the clouds in the splashdown zone to be in the process of dissipating. The winds are somewhat reduced, now just 6 knots. The wave height's still less than 4 feet. All go forecast. So once again, the stage is set as Integrity continues its inexorable march toward a splashdown in the Pacific 2 hours from now. 16,000 nautical miles away from the Earth. We are just 1 hour and 26 minutes away from crew module, service module separation, followed by a raise burn to tilt the aft end of the vehicle up ever so slightly and improve its angle of attack into the Earth's atmosphere as a mitigating action to reduce heat loads on the heat shield of the vehicle. This is all pre-planned, pre-flight. There's no differentiation between what we had designed this mission to do. We are expecting to reach the first traces of Earth's atmosphere at entry interface and 400,000 feet above the planet 1 hour and 45 minutes from now.
Integrity, Houston. Cabin temp cold soaking is initiated.
Copy that, Jackie. CO2 is 5.5, and we are still doing good on board. Christina and Jeremy are beginning suit on.
Houston copies all. Integrity Houston for entry checklist.
Go ahead, Jackie.
Read, with this time to EI, we expect you're about to be stepping into steps 9 and 10 in the entry checklist. In step 10 for the SIP switch config, there are no deltas.
No deltas to step 10. Copy all.
for 7:07 and 8 seconds p.m. Central Time, 5:07 and 8 seconds p.m. Pacific Time, at a point to the southwest of San Diego in the Pacific Ocean, where the USS John Murtha is on station and where recovery team assets are being deployed to the predicted splashdown site to complete the mission of Integrity's astronauts and their lunar flyby. With the Earth growing larger in the field of view, the next major milestone, just 1 hour and 13 minutes from now, will be the separation of the crew module from the European service module.
Houston copies.
The separation of the crew module will set the stage just 3.5 minutes later.
One question.
Go ahead.
When I was looking at the BFS SEP, it was the exact same time as our predicted SM SEP. Can you just confirm we don't need that to be a touch later?
And Reed, matching is expected. That's when the sequence will begin for that whole SEP config.
Outstanding. Thank you for the verification.
Here in Mission Control in the Artemis Flight Control Room, Capcom Jackie Mahaffey confirming some of the timeline activities with Commander Reed Wiseman aboard the vehicle. The crew has suited up in its launch and entry suits, ready to begin the critical phase of this mission. Their homecoming to a high-speed entry and a parachute-assisted splashdown in the Pacific. Once again, the next major milestone, 1 hour, 11 minutes from now, the separation of the crew module from the European service module as Artemis's astronauts head home to complete this historic flight.
Houston, we are ready for entry pad deltas if you got them.
Reed, we are taking a quick scan of those deltas, and we'll have them up to you in just a minute.
Copy that.